Hello everyone, this is Aratha and welcome to the part 2 of the Anglo-Norman Age by William J.Long. And today I'm going to talk about the literary works of the Anglo-Norman Age. During this age, they used to write in mostly two types of literary form. First was the rhyming chronicle and second was the metrical romances. Okay, they used to write in verse form, okay, because Saxon Chronicle has been written and it was written in prose, but prose was not that popular at that point in time and they used to write in verse. But the fact is that this rhyming chronicle was kind of like in the proper verse form where these were poems and verse was there, and this metrical romance is the thing that they used to write tales in verse. Okay, so they should not be they were not particular maybe with the idea of they have to be rhymed or anything. It was just like a story written in a poem form, okay, in a verse form. So first of all, let's talk about the books written in the category of rhyming chronicles, and the most important book in this category is Historia Regum Britanniae, which is written by Geoffrey of Monmouth. And I have no idea that if this is the right author of this book, because you cannot be certain about the book and the writer and everything. I mean, people even say that Shakespeare hasn't written his plays, so what do I know? So this book is very important from the perspective that a lot of writers in the coming age are going to take their material from this book, and that's why this book is very important. This is a history, as you know from the title itself. It's a kind of history of these British kings, and it is written in Latin. Okay, so you see that even though English a formation of English is taking place gradually, but people are still writing in Latin or French and all those languages. It is not like they have started writing about English from the first day. Okay, it's not like that. This gradual transition is there between this French and English, and it is the end of this Anglo-Norman period, the very end, that we get to see some of the works written in this way of English. And Chaucer is one of the person who perfected this writing in English form. Okay, he was one of the first writers to write in this sort of English form which we could comprehend even today. So the most important fact why this book is very important is because writers like Tennyson and Arthur Mallory and Shakespeare even took inspiration from this book to write their plays, works and poems. Okay, so this is why this book is very important, and this is the sole reason why this book is even mentioned in the book, I guess. Now the second most important writer in the category of rhyming chronicle is Brut by Lemon. Now Lemon is a very important writer. I think he has been asked in UGC-Net paper as well, and he is important because he is the first person who started writing in English. Okay, so Chaucer perfected this way of writing in English, but it was Lemon who first started writing, and it is also called that he was the first person, or he was the first Englishman who wrote for Englishmen. Okay, so these people now have been called as Englishmen. Okay, now these people are united. These Anglo-Normans and Anglo-Saxons, so whatever you call them, they are unitedly called as Englishmen, and he is the first person who has wrote for them as an Englishman. Okay, one thing you should also keep in mind that all these writers, they are writers, but most of the times they are historians. They are trying to capture the history. They are trying to record the history of Britain in their works. It is not like they are writing fictional things and all those things, though there are a lot of fiction in this works, because all these things are not accurate, and that's why these are not as seen as history but rather as works. And for example, in most of these works there is a mention of Arthur and his knights, and nobody really knows if he existed or not. So yeah, there is a flavor of fiction, but these are kind of written. You have to read something, so that was the kind of stuff that was being produced at that point in time, and people were reading that. Okay, so this book is also called as the Chronicle of Britain because it talks about the history of Britain, like a chronological order of history of Britain. To write this book, Lemon also took inspiration from the writers that came before him and that wrote about the history of England, and which was Bede, like one of the most important writers of the Anglo-Saxon age, and he took inspiration from them as well. And this book is also called to be the first book that features the story of Arthur and his 30 knights of the Round Table. And now let's come to the second category, which is the metrical romances. Now the major difference that I feel between these two is that these metrical romances kind of give you the vibe that they could be fictitious, though the first category, which is the chronicles, they kind of tell you that they are histories, and they kind of are accurate, but they were not accurate, and neither are these metrical romances. But yeah, when you are reading these metrical romances, you know for sure that there is a flavor of fiction, and which is introduced just to delight the audience, and these are not purely based on facts. Now, as it happens all the time, when these metrical romances came into being, they kind of foreshadowed these chronicles, okay, because the thing is that fiction is much more delightful and more entertaining to people in general. It does not matter if they belong to the upper class or the lower class. Fiction kind of amuses everybody, and that's why this overshadowed these rhyming chronicles. Now the most common themes of these metrical romances were adventure. I mean, adventure has always been one of my favorite genres as well, and metrical romances ka bhi the most important topic was romances, romance of every kind, and it had a flavor of love stories, and their kind of the principle, discipline, chivalry, all those kinds of adventures that the hero has, kind of heroic a story of a single person and his growth and all those kinds of things. This was the most common thing, like till today. I think, why do you think Harry Potter is so famous? It is because this is based solely on this archetypical idea of a hero and all the things happening around him, and he's the center focus of everything, and how he grows and all those kinds of things. So this is the basic idea of these metrical romances. So you can also say that metrical romances were the forebearers of the adventure genre altogether. So these metrical romances are further divided into three categories, which is the French, Roman, and the English. So French may they mostly talk about Roland, who is a national hero kind of thing, and they mostly, all the stories talk about them as well. Just Lady Roland is one of the most important work of in this subcategory. Second is the Roman. Roman में Troy की story is one of the most important stories, and that is what is the topic of most of these works that were written during this time as well. Third is English, which is the most important, which is our topic. They mostly talk about Arthur. I mean, if you have to talk about this ancient literature, then Arthur is going to be one of the most important characters in almost every book. So yeah, in the English category, the first most important topic is Sir Arthur. Most of the stories revolve around him because he is the so-called national hero of English people. And the second is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and the stories related to him. And it is very important because we don't know about this author, but it has a lot of adventure stories in it, and there are kingdoms and dragons and all those kinds of things. I think you could just check out a short summary of this particular work. And with the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, there were three more poems that were with this with the manuscript of this work, but they didn't had a title or anything, so they kind of have titled it after reading it carefully, and it is The Pearl, Cleanness, and Patience. And these are not that important, but yeah, these are the three poems that were further explored the adventures of Green Knight. So in my notes, I have written many more works of this age, but I don't think so that were very important, so I'm not going to talk about them. Now I'm going to talk about ballads. So at this point in time, at the end of Anglo-Norman period, ballads were starting to be popularized by writers, and because ballads are very simple, written in simple language, and they are not very sophisticated. They kind of tell story in a very simple way. So that's why middle class people or lower class people, they could also listen to them, they could sing it, they could do anything with them, and they could also write one, right? So that's why the thing is that ballads became more and more popular, and in Elizabethan age also there were ballads and all those kinds of things. So this is the starting of the writing of ballads in English literature. So one of the most important topics among these people for writing a ballad was Robin Hood. Robin Hood ke bare mein everybody knows that he used to take money from rich people and give it to the poor people, and that's why people kind of related to him, and that's why he was one of the most popular topic among people to write ballads on. And with the coming of ballads, lyrics were also started to be written by people, and this is the formation of there are a lot of genres that are spreading in English literature. There are ballads and metrical romances and lyrics, and these are the all kinds of things which are going to get fully structured in the Elizabethan age. And in Elizabethan age we see sonnets also being written, and lyrics, and odes, and all those kinds of things. So this is the thing, that this is the formation of Anglo-Norman age is very important. from the perspective that it kind of is forming this rough structure of English literature, rough structure of all the genres, rough structure of language, and all those kinds of things. So yeah, that was it for today, and in the next video we'll talk about the age of Chaucer and how Chaucer influenced English literature, because that is the point where literature gets interesting. Till now it has been boring, right? And yeah, I hope you all find it useful though. But yeah, no matter how boring it is, you have to read this at least once or twice to get a basic idea of how this English became what it is today. And yeah, from next video things are going to be much more interesting, because we are going to talk about Chaucer, and after that Shakespeare is gonna come, and all those writers. Those are really interesting. Till now jitni बोरियत थी इस वीडियो तक ही थी, I guess. So yeah, this is it for today, and I hope I meet you in the next video. Till then, if you haven't subscribed my channel, please do share it with your friends. So yeah, and thank you for all your support, and comment if you have any query. And yeah, bye bye.